What's up, cool people? My name's Matt, aka That Random Christian Gamer, and welcome to tonight's live stream. So, the planned stuff for tonight includes Bible study in Job chapters 11 and 12, just picking up where we left off from there, and then hanging out while I play some Hades 1. And I'm going to specify Hades 1 now that, Hades 2 is out, cross-platform and all that, but really it's just called Hades, technically speaking. But anyway, hello, Seth. Hope you're doing well. That's weird that it showed you an ad already, because, I don't know if there should have really been anything this early. Oh, well. See what randomness we can do. Yeah, I mean, definitely, at least as far as the, room choices or whatever in Hades. It's called... Yeah, I didn't think pre-roll really happened, right at the start of the stream, though. But, oh well. It'll definitely be off a little while after the main first set of ads come up. First Blood, welcome. Hope you're doing well also. Yeah, I mean, I know pre-roll ads are a thing when the stream has been going a little while and someone just first enters the stream. I just didn't think that happened so early. Anyway, okay, random little notes. Well, maybe not that random, but, yeah, so my lighting and stuff here. So I know I mentioned, I don't know, probably about a month ago at first, that I was having some issues with some of my lighting stuff. That's still giving me problems. I can't change this one back here to any more than a few preset colors as things stand. And that's not even with the correct remote for those. So... well, I need to look into making sure I get the right kind of replacement battery for the remote on that before I completely give up on this light set. But in the meantime, at least starting next week, I've got some new lights that I will set up back there. The only issue with those is they have a very specific hookup to the power source. So, I gotta have them connected to the same source, which means they can't be too far apart from each other, unlike the ones that I was working with just now. But I think worst case scenario, I'm gonna try and use the old ones, kind of back this way somewhere, maybe even facing the wall, just so the light isn't directly on me. But if I unplug those and plug them back in, they just turn plain white. So I might have those to get a little bit more / different lighting on my face. Hoping I can rig that up in a way that works decently. And then the new lights will be the colored stuff in the background. But that'll be starting next week. I'm mentioning it now because I just got the package with the new lights. So, anyway, yeah, there's my little update for you. I could mention other things, but maybe I'll wait until, later on when we're just hanging around and I'm playing Hades. As it is, I'm going to go ahead and run the official planned early set of ads on Twitch, and then we'll hop into Bible study. All right. And I'm going to need to try and make sure that I'm, not talking too loudly and, straining my voice, because I already maybe kind of felt it ever so slightly there. Which is tough to do sometimes as I'm attempting to, do Bible study stuff. It's, stuff that I get very much mentally invested in sometimes. And I also don't want to read it in, just a monotone voice, because, that makes it sound boring. And I don't want to make this Bible sound any more boring than some people think it already is. Anywho, alright, got about another 25 seconds for those ads, I think. Yeah. But, alright, well, I'm, still kind of getting myself settled back in after my trip. Actually, I'm pretty well settled back in now, I'd say. Just getting the full schedule and going through a couple more weeks of that will, then it'll be like, okay, fully 100% back to normal. But anyway, okay. I'm thinking we should be back and ready to start the Bible study stuff. Here we go. Okay. So we are looking at Job chapter 11 now. Alright, I'm gonna have to, abbreviate my summary more and more as we go through the book. But, oh, real quick. 50 streams in a row for Seth. Nice. I don't know if it's, an appropriate situation to say congratulations, but whatever the relevant equivalent is there. Okay, doggone it, Seth, you had to do that right after I started recording? Come on. Okay, but, I'm gonna want to pin a note or something for those. Okay, well, ×2, yes, that helps. Okay, pinning that until manually unpinned. Okay. Alright. Now, I'm really going to get started with the Bible study. Okay, so we're looking at Job chapter 11 now, and I'm going to have to try a little harder to, abbreviate my summaries as we get further and further into the book of Job. So, we'll see how that goes. So far, it started off with Job living a good life, both him doing well, financially, he basically had the kind of life anybody would want, but also he was just a really good person. He lived righteously, I guess is the word. But then this guy, Satan, aka the accuser, wants God to put him to the test, to put Job to the test, I mean. Take away his stuff and make him less healthy, or physically afflict him as well, and see if, Job ends up forsaking God or cursing God or, not liking God, essentially. So that stuff happens. Job loses everything, gets afflicted with boils all over. And then some friends of his come and sit with him, and, Job is there kind of, emotionally pouring himself out. But, like, his friends start kind of taking issue with things that Job is saying. Like, their thinking is that either he or his children must have done something sinful to cause all of this to happen to him. Because their mindset is only bad people get bad things happening to them. But, like, you know, that and some other points that these friends have tried to make, Job has kind of been arguing against in some ways. Like, for that particular point, Job said, you know, wicked people do prosper sometimes. And if God is truly sovereign, he's at least overseeing all of that. So, like, what chance do I have of, like, trying to argue against God and whatever he clearly wants to do to me? So, anyway, that's the gist of what's going on so far. And that was already 3 minutes. So, let me start reading chapter 11 here as we get into the first words we hear from Job's third friend. We heard from Eliphaz and Bildad already. Now, Zophar is joining the conversation. So here we go. Job chapter 11. Then Zophar the Naamathite replied to Job, "Shouldn't someone answer this torrent of words? Is a person proved innocent just by a lot of talking? Should I remain silent while you babble on? When you mock God, shouldn't someone make you ashamed? You claim my beliefs are pure, and I am clean in the sight of God. If only God would speak, if only he would tell you what he thinks. If only he would tell you the secrets of wisdom, for true wisdom is not a simple matter. Listen, God is doubtless punishing you far less than you deserve." Pausing there for a bit. So, yeah, like, again, there's an assumption of Job doing something wrong. Now, the way it has been approached more specifically in some of the previous conversation was that, like, kind of thinking, well, nobody's truly righteous before God. And to bring in a little bit of, you know, outside of this context, biblical insight, it's like, really all sin deserves death in God's eyes. Like, God is a God of righteousness and justice, and, you know, doing what's against his will separates us from him. So, I mean, the thing is, these friends are all kind of just, like, using that almost as an excuse to argue against Job. Like, most people wouldn't say that, like, just the general nature of human sinfulness is in and of itself enough to justify all the things that have happened to Job. Like, whether his friends are saying it or not, it seems likely that they think he or his children did something specific to cause all of this. And, like, Zophar's comments here about Job, you know, babbling on and, you know, saying a torrent of words, like, I think they're trying to use, you know, very intelligent sounding wording to somewhat mask or, like, seem less harsh than what they really think. Or maybe even, seem less specifically like they're trying to accuse Job of a specific sin. Because they don't know what he did. But it seems like they're assuming he did something specific. Because, I mean, if it was really just the general state of his sinful life, however much that may or may not have been, like, why would all of this punishment come upon Job at once? So that's kind of part of what Job has been saying in response to them so far. But all three of his friends, in some way or another, have made these same claims. So, like, they clearly don't think that he's being fully honest with them. I mean, maybe I shouldn't say clearly, but it seems to me that they think he's not being honest with them. Even though, like, his response to Eliphaz earlier on was like, you know me, am I prone to lying? Like, but they, because of their mindset and their framework of sin that they have, they just can't let go of the idea that he must have done something. It's like they trust their theological framework more than they trust Job, who, again, is supposedly their friend. But anyway, enough about that. Let me move on to verse 7. Can you solve the mysteries of God? Can you discover everything about the Almighty? Such knowledge is higher than the heavens. And who are you? It is deeper than the underworld. What do you know? It is broader than the earth and wider than the sea. If God comes and puts a person in prison or calls to the court to order, who can stop him? For he knows those who are false, and he takes note of all their sins. An empty-headed person won't become wise any more than a wild donkey can bear a human child. And still, same line of thinking. They keep talking about what happens to people who are sinful. And also talking about how much more righteous, more just, more powerful, just how much higher in every imaginable way God is than us. And yes, there is truth to that. Like, we are finite, God is not. We cannot fully understand God and his ways and his thoughts, his actions. Like, there might be some things we can know, but we're never going to know all of it. But, again, like, if the three different friends were the same person in this conversation, it would seem like just talking in circles. Because they're all hitting the same points over and over again. There's no new argument being presented. If I were Job, I would start getting frustrated at this by this point. Because Job has not done anything specific that triggered all of this. And in a way, he even kind of views it as a punishment. Maybe he did, but we're told that's not why he's being punished or whatever. We are told specifically that all of this suffering that Job is going through is specifically a test of faith. That is it. It's not because he sinned. It was a test prompted by God telling Satan that Job is really great, and Satan doubting that Job would still be so great if he, was tested. Maybe he did get frustrated at all their argument and we don't know of it. Maybe. I mean, it's hard to read emotion into pure text. Maybe as we continue on, Job will actually perhaps say some things that sound more frustrated, because certain words can still sort of evoke that. But I'm not gonna push that too hard. But now I understand you were saying maybe he did get frustrated, not that maybe just the timing of the chat and stuff made that awkward. For a second, I thought you were saying maybe he did sin, and we don't know about it. Anyway, so, yeah, like, right here, I've already forgotten the dude's name, Zophar, is basically, yeah, just talking about how much higher God's ways and thoughts are than ours. And, yes, some of that can be true, but it, like, in a very specific situation like Job's, and especially when it's repeated over and over, it starts to ring hollow. Like, shoot, some of it even didn't really, sit well with Job, even when Eliphaz said it at first. I mean, so I guess the main point I'm trying to get at here is that, like, simply speaking theological truth isn't necessarily going to comfort somebody if that's what you're trying to do. I don't know if these guys are really trying to comfort him more than they're trying to, school him, so to speak. Because that's what people will do sometimes. They'll take whatever opportunity they can to just spit theology and make themselves sound more intelligent than other people. But yeah, don't just be spitting theology if you're trying to make somebody feel better. Especially if, like, it's not, especially if you're, like, not even hearing the person out. Anyway, so we got a couple of notes here to look at from the translators. In verse 8 here, rather than the underworld, the Hebrew reads Sheol. Kind of their version of an underworld at the time, or like an afterlife, I guess would be more accurate, but it was just kind of, I mean, they called it the pit sometimes. It was just, all right, well, you die, you go in the ground, and that's kind of it. I mean, at least to my understanding. There may have been a little bit more to that. Note here at the end of verse 12. Okay, so the wording in the note here actually makes it even more extreme. Well, maybe not completely more ridiculous, though. So, rather than, more than a wild donkey can bear a human child, it could say, more than a wild male donkey can bear a tame colt. I mean, there's also the ridiculousness of a male donkey bearing any kind of offspring. But which is more ridiculous? Wild male donkey bearing a tame colt, or wild donkey at all bearing a human child? Yeah, science doesn't work that way, where different species can bear a child of an entirely different species. Anyway, let me not digress on that too long. So, yeah. So far, Zophar is pretty much just saying how, because God's so much more just and righteous than us, there must be something that Job did at some point in his life that he is now being punished for. But let me move on to verse 13 and see what else he says. If only you would prepare your heart and lift up your hands to him in prayer. Get rid of your sins and leave all iniquity behind you. Then your face will brighten with innocence. You will be strong and free of fear. You will forget your misery. It will be like water flowing away. Your life will be brighter than the noonday. Even darkness will be as bright as morning. Having hope will give you courage. You will be protected and will rest in safety. You will lie down unafraid, and many will look to you for help. But the wicked will be blinded. They will have no escape. Their only hope is death. And, the assumption is that he has not already gone to God. And that he has not taken his sins to God. There's just more assumptions being piled in here. More of the same kinds of assumptions, really. When your framework is good people get good things and bad people get bad things, and you leave it off at that, across the board, black and white like that, then you have no room in your mind for flexibility or exceptions. Job, realistically, we know, is an exception. At least would be considered an exception to their framework. But yeah, Job has already said various things. There was also a week that it said earlier on that these friends sat with Job while he mourned. So, at least they waited a week before speaking up, but also, we're not told all of the things that Job may have said, might have prayed for, or any of that in the meantime. But, the fact that Job was such a righteous man that even after all of his, possessions and even his children were taken away, that, he, even then, left his words at, well, God gave me a lot and God has taken it away. If that was already Job's mindset right then, I would think, now this is me making an assumption, I guess, but I would think Job would have had the state of mind to take his troubles to God at some point over the course of a week of dealing with all of this. But according to his own words previously, not only has he dealt with all of this loss and the constant physical affliction of boils so bad he's scraping his skin with pottery, but he has then also said on top of that, he's had trouble sleeping, he's dealing with disturbing visions at night, and all of this mental trouble, whether it's from lack of sleep or further spiritual encroachment upon Job's life. He just cannot rest. He can't even catch any kind of a break from any type of affliction, whether it be physical or mental or, I don't know about spiritual per se, but because, his faith is what they're trying to test. So, anyway, Zophar, like Job's other friends, still thinks that, hey, you know what? Just turn to God, hold your head up high, fake it till you make it, maybe even, and then you'll be okay. But in Job's case, it does not seem to be that simple, based on what we have read that he is dealing with. So, anyway, I feel like I'd be talking in circles if I said too much more. So I guess I'll leave it at that for Job chapter 11. Okay, let me get a sip of water here before we continue. How long is this chapter? Verse-wise, slightly longer, but not that much. Okay, here we go. Alrighty. We're at Job chapter 12 now. So, in case anybody happens to be joining in right now and knows nothing about Job's story, so Job was a good man who lived a good life. He was wealthy and righteous. So righteous, in fact, that God pointed him out to Satan, aka the accuser. And then Satan, in turn, is like, well, you've given him such a great life. Take away all of his stuff. That wasn't enough for Job to, say anything bad about God. So then on top of that, Satan's like, okay, well, people will do a lot to stay physically healthy. Let's, affect him physically and see if he turns his back on you. So then Job gets covered in boils. The one caveat that God provided was, all right, you just can't kill him. Last we knew, his wife was still alive, but his children died in the first set of stuff that happened. So he has, nothing, or very little, especially compared to what he had before. But, so then he has 3 friends that come along, sit with him at first, and just, for a week, they're just there with him, comforting him while he is mourning over all this loss and pain. But then he starts speaking about how he feels, and his friends start theologically taking issue with what he says. And, like, there are some things on both sides that are a little bit like, don't you think that's a tad too far, or a bit too much of an assumption or a generalization? Like, the short version of it is that all of Job's friends seem to assume that either he or his kids did something to cause all of this. But Job maintains that, no, I am innocent. I have done nothing worthy of this. And even kind of starts questioning God, like, why, God, would all of this punishment be worth bringing upon me and maintaining upon me if I'm so small in the grand scheme of things? Of course, his friends maintain that, well, nobody's really righteous before God, and really, any sin against God deserves whatever punishment God whips up. Like, we deserve death, really, for sin, but some people would argue that what Job's going through is a fate worse than death. But I digress. So, there's the general gist of the back and forth conversation so far. And really, that's probably going to be the case for most of the discussion, but let me not project too much. We'll just hop in now and see what Job says in response to the third friend. So now all three of his friends have said something, and really all have said something to the same effect, roughly. The details are a little different, but the general gist is still just turn to God and do what is right, and you'll be good. So, let's see what Job says in response to Zophar here in chapter 12. Then Job spoke again. You people really know everything, don't you? And when you die, wisdom will die with you. Well, I know a few things myself, and you're no better than I am. Who doesn't know these things you've been saying? Yet my friends laugh at me, for I call on God and expect an answer. I am a just and blameless man, yet they laugh at me. People who are at ease mock those in trouble. They give a push to people who are stumbling. But robbers are left in peace, and those who provoke God live in safety, though God keeps them in his power. See, okay. I said last chapter that by this point I'd be starting to get frustrated at Job's friends because they keep just hammering home the same points. Basically assuming / accusing Job of, doing something sinful just because they keep repeating the same thing. It's like, it's pretty clear that that's what they think. Like, they wouldn't say that Job needs to, take his case to God or take his pain to God and follow God's ways if they believed he was already doing that. And Job's kind of snapping back at them, basically calling them know-it-alls. And I'd say there's a little frustration implied with those words. And again, he maintains that he is innocent, which we know that at least relative to the situation, he is. He's not being punished here. It's a test of faith. That's it. Now, this right here, whoo, man, that's a real call out to some people. Like, how easy we see that it is for some people who, live in comfort to look at those who are going through tough times or who do even the slightest little thing wrong. And again, like Job's friends here, and I think I said this in the last chapter, but like such people who are comfortable are very quick sometimes to just sort of say, to spit theology at people, not taking their situation into consideration, not like trying to comfort them with said theology, more like basically trying to use the Bible to, hypothetically hit them over the head. Or metaphorically, I guess, is a better way to... Essentially, they're more concerned with sounding smart and correct in what they say than they are with actually, like, trying to help people and comfort them. Like, the number of social media conversations that fall into this category here, good grief. I think about a quarter of the words that have been placed on the internet would be gone if we got rid of those conversations. But there's, one of those like 57.8 statistics, 0.8% statistics that are made up on the spot. And yes, I just made up another one. Anyway, now this whole robbers are left in peace. It's like, I think it's more so like Job emphasizing the fact that, people who are close to you and living comfortably while you experience trouble are kind of more likely to mock you, to ridicule you, to try and correct you than people would be quick to correct. In this case, he says robbers, probably because robbers are like, sort of, for the most part, outside of most of society's operations. They don't stay real close to people for fear of getting caught. And so, like, I guess it's almost more Job saying that, like, his friends are the type who are, quick to ridicule a friend in trouble, yet they won't point out obvious wrongdoing and evil in the world simply because it's not, like, close to them and not really affecting them. Anyway, okay, I feel like I've been talking about that for quite a while. Let me look at the note here at the end of verse 6. I almost said chapter 6. So it could read, and those who provoke God live in safety. Those who try to manipulate God. Meaning of the Hebrew is uncertain. Okay. So... Now, I would definitely say it's true that God keeps them, like, if God's truly sovereign over everything, he knows all things that all people do. And so even though robbers try to stay secretive, God knows it. And he will, at least at some point, even if not until eternity, punish them justly. But this almost turns the rewording here in the note, almost shifts the focus, or keeps the focus more on the robbers, or those who provoke God. And, saying that they're trying to take advantage of people and or like perceived gaps in God's judgment or something like that. I don't know. The meaning of the Hebrew is uncertain, so I'm not going to be too certain of what Job's trying to say there either. Anyway, okay, let me move on to verse 7 now. Just ask the animals, and they will teach you. Ask the birds of the sky, and they will tell you. Speak to the earth, and it will instruct you. Let the fish in the sea speak to you. For they all know that my disaster has come from the hand of the Lord. For the life of every living thing is in his hand, and the breath of every human being. The ear tests the words it hears, just as the mouth distinguishes between foods. Wisdom belongs to the aged, and understanding to the old. But true wisdom and power are found in God. Counsel and understanding are his. What he destroys cannot be rebuilt. When he puts someone in prison, there is no escape. If he holds back the rain, the earth becomes a desert. If he releases the waters, they flood the earth. Yes, strength and wisdom are his. Deceivers and deceived are both in his power. He leads counselors away, stripped of good judgment. Wise judges become fools. He removes the royal robe of kings. They are led away with ropes around their waist. He leads priests away, stripped of status. He overthrows those with long years in power. He silences the trusted advisor and removes the insight of the elders. He pours disgrace upon princes and disarms the strong. Okay, pausing there for a bit. So, if these friends of Job have been appealing primarily to their own experience or to the knowledge of prior generations when making their claims. Job's like, just look at nature. Look at what happens in the world. And it will be obvious that, it's not really the way that you say it is. Like, yes, God is wise and powerful, but, like, all of the things that happen on the earth are in God's hands, including the bad things that we know happen. The people who get away with doing wrong in this life, at least, are still known to God. So, is it really so theologically correct to make a blanket statement that good things only happen to good people and bad things only happen to bad people? You all are not thinking about this correctly. You're only looking at part of the story. If God really is in control of all of that, then it makes sense that in some cases, God would also bring bad things upon good people. Like Job stated earlier, when disasters come, like natural disasters, famine, floods, fires, earthquakes, whatever, like, they are not partial to how righteous people are. Those things just happen. Now, outside of Job's words, I would add that, like, that's just part of the broken state of the world. So, while there is no, like, real ability to, say that God is wrong in anything that he does, and there's no fighting back against God, because he's more powerful than us. He is all-powerful and wise, and you can't bring up a moral argument against him because he's more righteous and just than us. But, like, all of that to say, it makes no sense, really, to then just assume that Job must be experiencing bad things simply and only because he has sinned. So, now, he did also say before he kind of wished that he could, like, have a mediator, have someone to, like, get God to tone it down a little bit so he could just, like, gather himself enough to state to plead his case before God. But even if he did, God is, better than him. And the fact that Job acknowledges all of these things, like, about how wise and powerful that God is, and the like, it proves that he already knows the things that his friends have been trying to say, or that they have been saying to try to convince Job to change his mindset and his behavior, that doesn't even really need to be changed. They're convinced that he needs to change because they're convinced he sinned. But Job's saying, no, I recognize all these things that you're saying about God, but I'm still innocent. And he also, like, where did he say it? That, like, oh yeah, back up here in verse 3, he's like, who doesn't know these things you've been saying? He's almost, like, kind of saying their theology is a little bit too simplistic, or, like, even kind of saying that their arguments are, low level. It's just absolute basics that anybody who knows God should know. And to assume that he doesn't know these things is ludicrous. Okay. But yeah, so all these things that Job lists out are, I think, him trying to give pieces of evidence to say that, like, all these different kinds of situations where things seem to be good, bad things still happen. To further emphasize his point that, like, he isn't necessarily being punished because he sinned. Anyway, there was a note here in verse 9. So rather than saying, for they all know that my disaster has come from the hand of the Lord, the Hebrew just reads, they all know that this has come from the hand of the Lord. Like, yeah, it's likely he's referring to all the trouble that he's experiencing. AKA this disaster. Technically, having the word "this" there only makes that implied rather than, like, outright stated. Otherwise, I don't even know what it would be referring to, if not his troubling situation. I mean, like, because this isn't stuff that, I mean, yes, the earth, the fish, the birds, the animals, like, they all came from the hand of God too, but that makes no sense to be referring to those in this situation. Anyway, all right. Not going to dwell on that for too long because I think it's pretty easily understood. And I left just a handful of verses here at the end. Well, let's get to verse 22 here then and wrap up the chapter. This is still Job speaking about things that God does. He uncovers mysteries hidden in darkness. He brings light to the deepest gloom. He builds up nations and he destroys them. He expands nations and he abandons them. He strips kings of understanding and leaves them wandering in a pathless wasteland. They grope in the darkness without a light. He makes them stagger like drunkards. So again, just kind of further emphasizing Job's point of saying that, like, yeah, all these different kinds of things that happen where people are brought low, they all come from God. Or at least that they're all, like, you know, within God's power. I'm certainly not going to claim that, like, everything bad that happens is ultimately because of God. No, it's because there's sin in the world. The world is not perfect like God made it because of sin. So, like, but it is still true, though, that, like, God is sovereign and has power over all of it. So really, any of this stuff that does happen, it's at least something that God allows, you could say. And he knows why. We don't necessarily. But yeah, so, like, again, Job knows that God is ultimately in control. And I guess saying that he knows that is also him kind of implying that, yes, I know that I should take my troubles to God, that I should live righteously. I have done these things. My whole life has been spent doing these things. So, that, like, the fact that he knows those things already is then, like, pretty much saying to his friends, like, yeah, all this stuff you've been trying to tell me about just turning to God and just living righteously and, you know, all of that, it's you're not telling me anything new. I don't need to change my ways because I've been living like this. But anyway, yeah, I don't have much else to say that would be any different kind of perspective on it or a different thought than what I've already said. So, I think I'm just going to go ahead and leave it at that for Job chapter 12. Next time, next chapter will still be Job speaking. So we'll see what else he has to say then. Okay. But for now, that's it for the Bible study. Okay, other random note. I went to the dentist a couple of days ago, and, like, the inside of my mouth still kind of hurts. Like, kind of right inside of my... Not in my teeth, but, like, further in my mouth from there. Like, the inner gums a little bit. And I think it's mostly just because of, like... when they were doing the x-rays and like the thing that they put in my mouth was so big it was like pushing into that part of my mouth. And I think it's just sore from that. But anyway, okay. I guess before I get to the next ad break, I can at least figure out one random exercise to do. Give me a moment. Gathering my dice and, dice tower thing. Okay. And let me make sure I pull up the list so I have all of the active exercises on there. As opposed to the ones that are not in the current rotation. Okay. Here we go. What kind of exercise will I be doing first? I've rolled a 3, which on the current list is squats. Okay. Now, these squats will be done in sets of 3. With a minimum of 2 sets, which is only 6. I will probably do more than that. But that's the bare minimum I'm telling myself I'm going to do. Alright. Going to do some of those and then hit up the next ad break. Alrighty. So... meanwhile, other stuff that's been going on for me, I noticed that there is a sign up very close to where I work that mentions there's an apartment available for rent. So, I just today, kind of took a picture of that sign so I know the phone number to call. I'll see if I can reach out to them soon. No promises, but I am kind of looking to maybe move into a place that is closer to work. I still have a couple months on my current lease, but, no harm in getting the ball rolling on that stuff, I guess. So yeah, that's really the main other thing that I would have as far as any kind of update. Okay, and that I believe was 30 squats there. Plus my update is basically done, so I'll leave it at that. One set of random exercise done. I will go ahead and run the Twitch ads. Meanwhile, got a bit of stream information to change. At least on that part of things. That being Twitch, I mean. Changing the category to Hades instead of saying I'm just chatting now. Okay. Unpin that. One. Exercise. Still to redeem. And then I'll go ahead and pin that message. Okay. Meanwhile, let me shift myself over here. Boot up the game. Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead and fade out my background music here, just so it's not in the way or going over top of what the game's doing. Well, okay. Game is being weird and not actually, like, starting when I hit... There we go, jeez. Took it a little bit to figure out what it wanted to do.
Hey.
Hey there. So... now I'm like, what was I doing? What weapon did I have? Talk.
Once in a while, pal, you're gonna see a real fancy bozo try to ruin your good time. You'll know him because he's glowing like a light. But that's his special armor, see? You gotta punch right through it. He's gonna shrug you off until you do.
For a good time, beware the fancy glowing bozos on my quest. Check.
Well, we had no weapon. What do you mean we had no weapon?
Got it. Good one.
Anyway. You can unlock the shield unless there's something we were waiting on. I don't know. Were we waiting on anything? Was there perhaps something like... were we possibly waiting to unlock more talents and stuff here? I don't know. I think overall we're probably fine to get the shield thing. In fact, maybe we unlocked the shield, but then it didn't save that. I don't know. Oh, well.
Let's see what's in here. Aegis, shield of chaos. Lend me your power.
Prophecy foretold. Okay, bash.
That one.
Hold X to defend. Release to bull rush. Y to throw. Duh.
Yeah.
And dash strike. So I assume while I hold this, I won't take damage from whichever direction I'm facing. Keepsake. Is this where the keepsakes are? Yeah, no. I thought we had a keepsake. But, I don't know, maybe not. Well, I suppose we'll just go on ahead here then.
Family.
Oh?
Death is your only family. Death and I. best get accustomed to the both of us.
No, not on your
Well, that was new. At least new to me. Also, it keeps showing options to gift things, like... I'm not sure what that would do, even. Is that a good idea? I don't know. I imagine that might, like... kind of, you know, improve the relationship or whatever between characters, and it gets you story for them in Keepsake eventually. You know what? I guess just to try it out for once, unless there's a real strong reason not to. I'm gonna see what it does here. Who even is this gonna be? Is this one Aphrodite? Or, well, whatever.
Lady Aphrodite, I am truly blessed simply to have made your acquaintance, so this is for you.
Lasting relationships are built on reciprocity. So if you lavish me with gifts, why, what am I to do but give you something in return?
I'm honored.
Oh, hey, new keepsake, Eternal Rose. So there's that. Now, for the regular thing.
You've had a brush with Megara the Fury, haven't you? Oh, I know a thing or two about that one. Though lately we Olympians no longer mingle with those living in the underworld. You're the only exception.
Let's see here. Heartbreak. Special deals more damage and inflicts weak. Crush shot. Your cast is a wide, short-range blast that inflicts weak. Or passion dash. Your dash deals damage where you end up inflicting weak. Okay, so only two of these have fated choice prophecy things. So if we're rolling a 3 on a 6-sided die, given those two options, that means Heartbreak Flourish. That's how I understand that we're doing this. Right, yeah. But I assume that was you saying there was a roll of 3, not that I'm choosing option number 3. So, yeah, okay. So, Heartbreak Flourish it is. So the Y now inflicts weak. Okay, that might actually be really good. Not even necessarily just the weakness part of it, but... yeah. Okay. Seth, I will update you whenever there are choices to be made, I guess.
Let's fight.
Okay. Room is cleared. I gain 10 of those, whatever those are. I forget. It's been a little while. Alright, so I could go that way. And that seems to be it. Seems like there's just one way this time. Yep. Not seeing any other options. Okay, proceed. Oh yeah, I didn't see any chaos stuff either, just so we're clear. Okay,
Right there.
the fact of the shield bouncing around between the enemies seems to be helping quite a bit, actually. The only issue, I guess, comes when, you know, like, it leaves me open slightly longer. Chaos is always forced. Yeah, then add one more to that sequence list. Anyway. Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's anything going on here. No, choices of where to go, aside from this. Yep, okay, that does just straight up block stuff from the front while active. Sweet.
Crushed. Right.
Now this... Yeah, I mean... That's not quite half of my health. So I guess... we will descend. Okay. Then yes, descend we shall.
Going in. The heart
Chaos.
of the world.
And... whose symbol is that? Should I gift them something like... I was almost going to say fish there. Symbol of chaos. Definitely gift. Okay.
Master Chaos, everyone makes offerings to my relatives upon Olympus. I wish to make an offering to you. Thank you for everything.
That's true.
How cruel of you to make attempts to tempt me with material things. You then, please in turn allow me this attempt at reciprocity.
Master Chaos, thank you.
You keep saying cosmic egg. Is that what it said? Cosmic egg? I think so. Okay, cool.
You come to my domain bearing an all-seeing artifact that sprang from me after the dawn of time. It is considered a defensive instrument, I do believe. Though I suspect you have discovered, or soon shall discover, it is nothing of the sort.
Okay. None of these seem to have any prophecies attached to them. So, we got Flayed Soul for the next 3 encounters each time you special get hit for -5. Afterward, gain plus 39. What? Best way to end a run if someone knows. Anyway. This is one of these. The next 4 encounters, slain foes toss an inferno bomb at you. Afterward, gain 1 bloodstone. Oh, okay. Is that after each encounter? Anyway, excruciating affluence. For the next 4 encounters, you take plus 33% damage. Afterward, any obols you find is worth plus 40%. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I could see the bomb thing being annoying, but, like, if you know it's coming, you can at least prepare for that. Taking an inherent 33% more damage is... oof. Okay, but what are we doing? Like... we could talk about the options a while, but that... it, like... are we rolling for which one? Small room, lot of enemies. For the explosive stuff, okay. Yes, I could see how that would be a problem. Okay. Damage increase. Yay. Oh, hello. And I guess there's also a choice of which type of room I go to upon returning. Okay, well, I mean, technically based on the orientation of the screen, I would consider this 1, this 2, and this 3. So, nectar, jewels, or whatever, and then the bloodstones, is that what they're called? Anyway, okay, 6 has been rolled for that. Here we go.
Fight me, idiot.
Gotta do my best not to take any damage. And there I took a little bit of damage. Okay, room cleared.
Dead to the last.
Now, just so I'm clear on this, when it mentions, yeah, I guess each, what I would call a room, is considered one encounter. But, okay. Room clear, got 2 choices. Okay. So not every room is an encounter. It's only considered an encounter if there are enemies. Okay, gotcha. Right. Sorry. When I play so infrequently, the terminology eludes me sometimes. Reading order is, well, this one to the left here, and then the Right. So, this way. I do definitely end up... Oof. I definitely end up damaging enemies quicker when using just the straight melee, but... You know, I'm also right there next to them. Okay, power up. Heartbreak Flourish. Special damage is now plus 112%. For at least 4 seconds, victim deals at least 30% less damage. Oh, so like...
Extra blessing.
That has kind of almost been evening out the increased damage from chaos stuff. And there does not seem to be any choice of where I go from here. So, on to the next room.
You lads
Oh,
again, huh?
jeez. Had to be bomb throwing guys. How did that hit me? I thought for sure I was far enough away. Well, now I gotta be extra careful. One more hit and I'm a goner, I think. Well, one more hit and I'll have to use a revive thing. Forget what they called that ability where you kind of automatically revive like that. Okay, jeez.
Had enough.
And now I could give a gift to Poseidon. I mean, might as well. Yeah, Death Defy, that's the ability. Thank you. Yes, that's the only thing. It is my last one. So, fine, I will wait.
Your hated enemies, they almost got the best of you, I fear. But you can still turn it around, especially now that you have my aid.
And no prophecy stuff? Okay, well, then that means either dash damages foes in an area and knocks them away. Sunken treasure. Gain a random assortment of gemstones, darkness, obols, or healing. And healing. Ocean's Bounty. Any gemstones, darkness, and obols are worth more. But we rolled a 2. Well, it is what it is, I guess.
Power of the sea.
Okay. Oh, hey, we got another nectar. And no choice of where to go. We're getting keys. Or at least a key. For a second there, I was like, I am trying to move. Why is it not letting me move? Man, that attack has been so helpful against a bunch of the ranged enemies. Okay, so the Chaos Curse has been lifted. Now I'm trying to remember. Does that mean I now get something else? I forget what the other part of that meant. But, alright. 2 options at room completion. I'm not quite sure what that one is. Obviously, that's more gemstones, but... okay. Let's see what it is. Because I don't recall ever seeing that before.
Good to see you.
Oh, hello.
Sir?
Oh, maybe I have seen this once before. Event, yeah. So would this be one of those rare encounters that maybe I should, give a gift to? No? Okay. No, but yes. Not a rare encounter, but yes, give a gift. Is my understanding. Okay, well.
Hey, sir. Thought this might ease your burden for a while.
Now hold a moment, Highness. I cannot accept something like this. Not without giving back a little something in return, that is.
New keepsake, Shattered Shackle. Okay. And now we'll just talk like normal.
Said, I'd not expected to run into you again, not after all this time. Something amiss down in the house, or what? Not had much company of late, is all.
Well, something's just about always amiss back home, sir. Figured it couldn't hurt to check up on things in Tartarus a bit more frequently.
Well, I am grateful for it. I and the old boulder there, in turn. I'm used to going lengthy stretches on my own, but having visitors from time to time would do me well.
Okay. I'm already mostly healed. So, I mean, long-term darkness would probably be better to take. But roll, yeah. You only see him in Act 1, similar to the 2 events of Act 2 and 3. Then Act 3 has a double boss. Huh, okay. And we have rolled a 4, which means healing anyway. Yay.
You got it.
A pleasure.
Yeah, that could have restored 20, but I only needed 3. Oh, hello.
Within the depths of Tartarus reside the most wretched of all the shades who linger for eternity within the underworld, whose lord and master is especially unkind to them to cheat death.
Lots of wretchedness to go around, I guess.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a net benefit of 0 considering that. Okay, and no choice here.
Farewell then.
looks like we're getting another boon from Poseidon upon completing this room. Whoa, hello. You there. Ow, okay. Debatably got a little careless there. And more enemies still coming. Hooray. Okay, well, at least all the smaller ones are gone. See, the downside of throwing the shield is that it leaves me open for a bit. And that last hit I took just happened to be... enemy was really close while I was attempting to rapidly melee. And attacked me when I kind of wasn't expecting it. Oh well. Okay.
In the name of Hades.
Let's see here. I don't think I see any prophecy stuff. So, Tempest Strike. Attack deals more damage and knocks foes away. Poseidon's Aid. Your call makes you surge into foes while impervious for 1.2 seconds. Or Ocean's Bounty. Makes stuff worth more. Eh. Got a 4. Tempest Strike. Okay. Attack deals more damage and knocks foes away. Alright. Any options here? Well, at least those two. Yeah, it seems like just those two. Either gemstones or a key. Okay, odd number means the first one. Okay. Definitely can still get hit from the back while I'm doing the charge thing. I mean, I kind of figured that was the case, but I just hadn't seen it happen yet. Okay. Gemstones, yay. And what is this? Trove Trial. Gain up to 25 gemstones. I suppose... Yeah. Suppose that's something I am forced into. Simply because it's an option.
How bad could it be?
Who dares?
How bad could it be, he says. I mean, potentially real bad, I'd imagine. Ow. I mean, if I could just stay far enough away from these guys, I should be fine, right?
Worthless.
There.
And I get 3.
Very nice.
Because it took me a little while, I guess. Ooh, I did gain a nectar from that too, though. So, it's something. Alright, now I've got, I think that's a shop the one way, and power up the other way. So, we have a 5. Shop time? I'm like, I think that's what that means. Yeah.
Charon's shop.
I don't know if I'd consider this especially rare to encounter. So close. Going to have to roll one coin off. Oh, from being able to get all 3? Yeah. Firstly, talk to Charon. Yeah. Just talk to, not gift. Right? Yeah. Well, gift too. Because I have an extra nectar.
Charon, you've been such a reassuring sight, I thought I'd offer you a token of my gratitude. Wait, you don't have to give me something in return. It was a gift. Though, you're insisting, aren't you? I don't
New
know what to
keepsake,
say,
bone hourglass. One other thing after that. And talk, yeah.
Hey, Charon, if there happens to be something really horrible awaiting me beyond that door, then give me a sign, won't you? Great.
Okay. Break all the pots.
No need to thank me, mate.
Also, what was it? Okay. No pots over here. Plenty of pots over here. But that seems to be it. So, no luck there. All right. So we're just including the roll till out of money. Okay. So we've got this.
Don't spend it all in one place. once,
A
mate.
boon from Hermes. Still not seeing any prophecy stuff. Alright. Flurry cast. Hold cast fire in rapid succession. Careful reading. How is reading order tricky with that? Anyway, greater evasion when you are hit. You have a chance to dodge automatically. But anyway. Looks like we got a 1, so.
Time to go.
I mean, that's like really debatable. But I guess you're right, technically going from the top here. I don't know. Personally, maybe this is just me, but I usually consider room orientation like, but I guess then there's a debate of like, okay, which way is considered the right way to be facing when looking at all that. Anyway. And a 5. So yeah, because it's like, okay, do you consider it more to be from the left that's important, or more from the top that's important? But anyway.
Pleasure doing business.
Ah, you found me, little nephew. Strewn among the inventories of that most disturbing river boatman. That means you win my blessing.
Okay. No prophecies, so Floodshot. Didn't we just get something for the cast? Although I guess it can be charged and have this. Anyway. Top to bottom, left to right, orientation of a slant can matter. Yeah. So, out of these 3, it looks like we're going with Hydraulic Might. Your attack and special are stronger the first 10 seconds in an encounter.
The ocean's fury.
Okay. And now we proceed.
I'm back, Meg.
Listen to me, Zagreus. Your mother is long gone. You're never getting out of here, and even if you did, what hope could you possibly have in finding her up in the world out there?
I've hope enough. Not that it's any of your business anymore.
Your family is here, and so is your responsibility. You're running from yourself. Though, I can slow you down a bit, I think.
Well, if I really wanted to play this safe, at least for a while, I can just keep throwing the shield. But there is eventually more to this battle than that. Like that. Figured that was a good time to block stuff.
Dodge this. Am I supposed to be impressed?
I'm like, lately I'm doing a lot of damage to the other enemies, not so much to Megra. Did I still get hit there somehow, or is that the damage I took already that I'm seeing?
Wretches of the underworld to me.
Am I trying a little too hard to make use of the shield, maybe? Oh, crud. These other guys with their projectiles are, being a bit annoying. Also, it seems like I'm damaging Meg so slowly. Probably because of how much I'm focusing on the other enemies. Oh, jeez. Ah, crud. Okay, there's the Death Defy. This is taking a lot longer than I feel like the others, the other attempts at this battle have taken.
Waste of time.
Okay, there we go. Jeez.
Got you.
Gain. What's that called again? Titan's Blood?
This can unlock a hidden aspect of my weapons.
Yeah. Okay. Could go around and break all the pots. Actually, that's all there are. Okay, whatever.
Go on and try.
Yes, healing stuff. Okay, so now I have these keepsakes and might actually be able to use them. Bone Hourglass. Items from the Well of Charon have durations increased by +4 encounters. Clear 25 encounters with this to rank up. Eternal Rose. The next boon you find will be from Aphrodite. Her blessings have +10% chance to be rare or better. Cosmic Egg. Enter Chaos Gates without losing life. Blessings from Chaos have +20% chance to be rare or better. Okay. I mean, if the Chaos Gates were more common, that'd be quite helpful. Shattered Shackle. Your attack, special, and cast each deal +50% damage while not empowered by a boon. Interesting. But right now, I think all of them are empowered by boons. Yeah. So, are we rolling for which one of these I equip, or... Okay, yes. Number 2, which would be the Eternal Rose, I suppose. Okie day.
All set.
I could sell stuff there, or there's a shop there. I mean, I guess I could check out the shop. But is that really anything that I want? Hold on. I mean, you may want this. It's not random and not forced. Used to get out of the clutches. What do you mean, get out of the clutches?
Do I still need these?
Don't really feel like selling off anything, though. I will not roll anything in the well. Okay. I mean, that would heal me back to full, but do I really want it that much? Especially when I wouldn't even be taking full advantage of the healing. I guess it's 5 extra. I would perhaps like to see what I get from the Fateful Twist.
What do I get?
Discovered Light of Ixion, I think is what that said. Is there a way for me to look at what I just got? Really, that was... Sorry. That was like the main thing that I really wanted to do out of all the shop options and stuff. Okay, well. I suppose then I shall proceed.
Cheers.
Seems like I've got something that's active for the... Well, maybe not. I thought maybe I had something active for the next encounter. Oh, hey, it's a Chaos well. I guess we're going.
Hit me.
Chaos Gate. Sorry, whatever. Also,
The deepest
examine
reaches
this.
of the underworld, the void from which all life and consciousness sprang forth during the dawn of time. The realm of chaos. A land almost unseen even to denizens of Death's kingdom.
Could you keep it down?
Okay, well, let's see what we get from Chaos here. No prophecy stuff. Idle to ambush for the next 3 encounters. Each time you cast, get hit for -4 health. Afterward, you deal plus 65% damage striking foes from behind. Eh? Don't know if I like that trade-off. Caustic Lunge for the next 4 encounters. Slain foes toss an Inferno Bomb at you. Afterward, your dash strike deals plus 62% damage. Which is what we're gonna end up with, apparently. Abyssal Strike would have been, for 4 encounters, you take... Holy cow, but... Okay, from traps. Major increased damage. Afterward, attack deals plus 33% damage. So, I guess after the 4 encounters, the dash strike is going to deal more damage.
Let's see how this goes.
I was definitely not reading that correctly before. And no more boom. Well, yeah, obviously, after the 4 encounters, there's no more boom.
Who's first?
Jeez. No, don't go into the lava. Oh, jeez, that thing explodes quick, too.
Good.
No. Stop sending me into the lava. Yeah, I'm thinking this run's probably going to be over soon. There's a little too much lava around this room. What the? Did dude throw like a smoke bomb or something? Jeez. Okay. Well, that was the end of that, I guess.
So did everybody miss me?
Why does it show the whole giving nectar thing as if that's like a mission? I guess we'll see what all we get here, and then that'll wrap things up.
Oh, hey there, Dusa. How's your endless toil treating you?
Mr. Hypnos, do you maybe think that you could, keep an eye on the procession line before Lord Hades, like you were supposed to?
Oh, that's no problem. I can definitely do that. I'll just add it to the list.
Good, then. Glad we had the chance to chat. Now, maybe get some sleep or something. You look pretty beat.
Get on it, Hypnos.
Okay. Little interaction between the two of them.
How goes it, Shades?
I didn't actually fully read the part where it was like cause of death, and then I missed that. I missed what the cause of death was.
The sealed weapons by the
Achilles.
chambers. Your father won't observe their absence, I don't think. They remind him of a time he stood together with his brothers and sisters. He wants nothing more to do with any of that. I think it's fitting you've inherited their power.
Power that once sealed away the Titans. Maybe it's a power that can break me out of here. Thank you for helping me, Achilles.
Locked. Oh, geez, I can gift Cerberus something too? Ah, man.
You keep an eye on Father for me, boy. Don't let him sour up everyone's mood.
Cerberus promises to do exactly that, in his own way.
You are the best, you know that, don't you, boy?
Yeah, I think I got quite a few gems. Maybe not as many gemstones as I thought. Work orders. Fountain chamber, asphodel. Added chamber restores some health amid the searing heat. Okay, obviously the checked off ones are ones I've already done. That's all just cosmetic stuff. That may or may not be cosmetic. I don't know. Like, it describes a lot of these as decor, but, like, some of them, or even the repairs, it's like, I could see those not being purely cosmetic. I mean, shoot, maybe some of these aren't purely cosmetic either, but, anyway.
Here, the underworld could always use a little extra renovating, right?
And now it's showing more things under... Whoa, yeah. Definitely showing more options. For the Great Hall, the West Hall, the Lounge, and the Bed Chambers. And some of these are getting pretty costly here. Good grief. Okay, well... Guess that's one reason to be glad I did that one.
That Nix has been abetting you. You wish to take advantage of her pity. I care not. Her powers have their limits anyway.
How can you... Nyx is the night itself. It can do as she pleases, isn't that correct, Father? You think I asked to get involved in all this business?
You, boy, have already dragged this entire household, not to mention my fool relatives, into this mess which you've created. which you dare call business.
Pleasure doing business, then.
You are home.
Nyx, do you know anything about a softly spoken gentle being under the guise of chaos? They approached me recently and offered me a boon of sorts.
Primordial chaos. Indeed, I know them well. They must have taken interest in your quest. I would advise that you beware their offerings, though know that chaos, whilst a trickster, is not a deceiver.
I understand, I think.
Oh, Meg's in the lounge, and I can talk to her. I mean, I guess.
Hey, what's that you're drinking, Meg? Anything good?
Whatever it is, it's weak. Enough to be mistaken for your blood.
Nice. Well, I'll just leave you to it then.
Leave me alone.
Trade. Trade what? Oh. Okay, so if I have the stuff on the right, I can get the thing on the left. Is what I'm understanding from this, but I don't have enough of any, it seems. And now I kind of just want to make sure there's nothing else I could do.
Chef.
The ancient casks of wine hidden within the recesses of the House of Lord Hades. Few have tasted the intoxicating vintage they contain, and fewer still are permitted anywhere near their vicinity.
Still waiting for the festive occasion when we'll open one of these.
Okay, I think I've talked to everyone I can and done all the stuff. Unless I gift somebody something because it's still showing up there in the top left like it's a mission that I'm supposed to, you know, complete. Make sure to do the other 2 rooms. Which other 2 rooms? I've already been over this way, and I mean, yeah, there's the bed chamber, and, like, these 2 rooms. This one and then the one where the skeleton guy is.
A prophecy's been added to the list.
Oh, prophecy's been added. Okay. Getting boons from Aphrodite. Okay. Getting... I guess those are all supposed to be enchantments for the shield? Is what it's saying? Or... something require each of the... Okay, well, whatever. Yeah. That... okay. Anywho, reflect. Let's see. So I've got 233. I could deal extra damage from behind. Deal bonus damage with bloodstones in them, which I didn't even use those. Yeah. And by this point, 233 is enough, is close enough to be like, yeah, I maybe would be better off just waiting until I get to 500 so I get another Death Defiance. Shoot, isn't there like a reverse side to this now? Now I'm trying to remember how I get to said reverse. Oh, I just go over here for each thing. Fiery presence. Deal bonus attack and special damage when striking undamaged foes. Dark regeneration. Restore some of your life when you collect darkness. Okay.
Other side.
Stubborn defiance. Restore 30% instead of dying when your life total is depleted one time per chamber. But that costs 600, so that's even more. Ruthless reflex. Gain plus 50% damage and dodge chance for 2 seconds when you dash just before getting hit. Anyway. Okay, well, still saving up. Okay.
Hey, something back there for you, pal.
Back there for... Whoa.
Another weapon.
Another weapon that I cannot unlock yet.
Hey, pal, watch where you throw those bloodstone things of yours. You drop them, you go pick them up, you understand? But if somebody gives you grief, you got my permission to chuck one right in his eye.
I'll just aim generally for the midsection, since the eyes are a lot harder to hit in my experience.
And this is...
Another day in Tartarus. Or night. I have no idea.
Yeah, and this is pretty much where we'll leave things off, I guess. I think it just automatically saves when I hit quit. Well, progress saved 1 minute ago, so yeah. I don't have to specifically save the game, it saves itself. Okie day. You know, at some point, it's maybe gonna get to where I won't even complete a full run in an hour, and who knows how I'm gonna handle it then. But I have one more thing to take care of before we end the stream. That being more exercise. Alrighty, what do we have here? Number 2. Which is sit-ups. Okay. And... well, I rolled a 1 there. That's not really... I'll re-roll. Oh, great. So then I rolled a 6. Okay. How many sets of 6 am I going to try to do? Okay, 3. Alright. So at least 18 I'm going for. Real quick, I have a text message here. Making sure... okay. Right. It's just a reminder that since it's the last Saturday of the month coming up, that there's a group that meets on such occasions. Okay. Sit-ups. Getting this out. So I'm not putting my back directly on the hard floor. Okay. So, sets of 6, trying to do at least 18. Yeah. Okay. Am I within the camera shot? over this way. Yes, but not by a whole lot. So I'm going to scoot this way. Because I know I tend to scoot that way as I'm doing the sit-ups. It was sit-ups, right? Yeah. I was like, for a second, kind of doubting myself, like, wait, was it sit-ups or push-ups? It was some kind of ups, but yes, sit-ups. Okay. I promise I'm not trying to stall, it's just I had a brain fart. Okay. Ooh, ow, what the heck? My leg just cramped there for a sec. Okay. For real now, here we go. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And see, I'm scooting. Why do I scoot so much? It would be nice if I had something to hold my feet in place, and thus hold me in place, but oh well. Okay. I was at 8. 9. 10. 11. 12. 13. 14. 15. 16. Honestly struggling a little bit here. Maybe slight breaks in between though. Oh well. 17, I think that was. Okay. That should be 18. And yeah. Jeez. Like, I think out of all the parts of me, if I were to rank general levels of fitness between, arms, legs, and abs in particular, pretty sure my abs are the weakest part. Honestly, I think I'd go legs, then arms, then abs, but I digress. Okay. Well, I suppose that is all I've got for the stream then. So, while I try and find somebody to raid on Twitch here, let me kind of give you the general wrap-up / here's what's coming up on my schedule kind of thing. So, of course, tomorrow I will be playing Borderlands 4, doing more side quests, but in like a different area of the map, because while I kind of like doing the side quests, I don't want to divert from the main story forever. I do kind of want to cover all the different main areas of the map before I move on, though. Although I will admit I wasn't really thinking that until I realized I had such a relatively short playlist for Borderlands 4 compared to the other games in the series. So anyway, tomorrow afternoon, Borderlands 4, side quests, probably go into a different area of the map. Then next Thursday will be, continuing the Bible study, Job chapters 13 and 14. And I am leaning towards... I need to do a little research, I guess, to try and see if there's going to be a new mythic troop in Gems of War the day after. I'm not entirely sure because I think based on previous experience, if the Friday is the first of the month, then the last time I remember that happening, there was not a new mythic yet. So if not Gems of War, then Power Wash Simulator after the Bible study next week. And then, of course, a week from tomorrow will be more Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory, just continuing the world tour thing there. Yeah. That's pretty much it for upcoming streams. So, you know what? The notion has struck me to maybe send the raid to Midwest Dungeon Delvers, because I think it's been a little while. And, if anybody is interested in seeing what Crimson Desert looks like, well, that's what he's playing right now. So, anyway. That is what I'm thinking, and that is what I will initiate here for the raid. Does give a warning that the game's mature rated mainly for graphic violence and profanity. Just to let you know before we head that way. Okay. But that is going to do it from me then. So, hopefully I'll see you soon for another live stream, whether more Bible study stuff or more gameplay or whatever it is. Feel free to check out edited stuff on YouTube in between streams, or hit up the Discord or any of the other social media accounts that I have. But anyway, whatever ends up happening, I hope y'all have a good time with whatever you do. Hope it goes well. But whatever ends up happening, till next time, stay cool, everybody.